let's talk about the biggest scam hiding in plain sight. It's probably parked in your neighbor's driveway right now. It's the most popular vehicle in America, and it's at the center of a deception that is literally reshaping our cities, ruining family finances, and posing a deadly threat on our roads.
Okay, let's just start with this one, because it's just insane. Why on earth does a modern truck, a vehicle people use to get groceries, have a front blind spot so big you could hide 15 elementary school children in it? Seriously, let that sink in. This isn't some accident. It's not a flaw. It's a choice. And it's a choice with absolutely horrific consequences. And if the physical danger isn't enough to get your attention, how about this? This same vehicle is the engine behind a $1.5 trillion auto debt crisis. Trillion with a T. We've all been sold this fantasy of American ruggedness, right? But the reality? It's a trap. A mountain of debt and a trail of financial and physical devastation. So how in the world did we get here? How did a simple, honest-to-God farm tool become a $100,000 status symbol? I mean, the answer lies in one of the most brilliant and, frankly, most deceitful marketing campaigns of all time.
The change is it's unbelievable. 30 years ago, a truck was a tool. You had vinyl seats you could literally hose down, manual windows, it was probably dented and covered in mud, and that was a badge of honor. Now, we're talking about six-figure monsters. The GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate with massaging leather seats. Massaging. And infotainment screens bigger than the TV I had in college. They're pristine. They never see a speck of dirt. They're not utility vehicles anymore. They're luxury sedans playing dress-up. So why? What drove this absolutely radical shift? Well, the answer, as it almost always is money. Just an obscene amount of money. You just have to follow the money. Here's the core of the whole scam right here. If an automaker sells you a family sedan, they make a tiny profit. We're talking maybe 3 to 5%, a few $100, maybe $1,000. But a truck? A truck is a gold mine. It's actually a cheap, simple vehicle to build. It's basically just a box on a steel ladder frame, but by slapping on some chrome and leather, they can charge a fortune. The profit margins are insane. 20, sometimes 30%. That's tens of thousands of dollars in pure profit on a single truck. It's a license to print money. And let's just talk about the scale for a second. The Ford F-Series, just that one line of trucks, brings in over $40 billion a year. That's more money than Starbucks makes. It's more than Visa. This isn't just a popular truck. It's the financial engine of the entire American auto industry. And you can see why they made the decision. Somebody in a boardroom realized, wait a minute, if we can just convince everybody to stop buying these sensible, low-profit sedans and start buying these high-profit trucks, we can essentially print unlimited money. And that became the mission. But how do you pull that off? How do you sell a construction vehicle to a software developer who lives in the suburbs? Well, you don't sell the tool. You sell a fantasy. You manufacture an identity, a complete and total lie. And the data just blows this whole fantasy apart. We're sold these commercials of trucks conquering mountains, right? Surviving the apocalypse. But the reality? Look at this. 75% of truck owners tow something once a year or less. 70% never even take it off-road. The vast majority of these so-called rugged machines are used for the daily commute and picking up groceries. It's a performance. It's automotive cosplay. They're not workhorses. They're what people call pavement princesses or mall crawlers. And you know what? The design of the truck itself proves it's a lie. The one part of the truck that makes it a truck, the bed, has gotten smaller and smaller. It's barely 5.5 feet long on many models. Meanwhile, the cabin has exploded. It's got limo-like legroom, panoramic sunroofs. It's a luxury lounge. They've also jacked them up so high to look aggressive that you can't even easily load stuff into the bed anymore. Think about that. They literally broke the tool to perfect the status symbol. But this isn't just some story about clever marketing. This is where it gets really infuriating. This whole thing was made possible by gaming the system, by exploiting old, outdated laws and tax loopholes that you and I are all paying for. It starts with something kind of weird called the chicken tax. Back in the 60s, there was this trade dispute over frozen chicken, and the result was a massive 25% tariff on imported light trucks. This basically gave American automakers a monopoly. They had no real competition from cheaper, smaller, more efficient foreign trucks. They could do whatever they wanted. But this next part, this is the real genius evil move. Government fuel economy standards, the rules that are supposed to protect the environment, they have this fatal flaw.
The rules are based on a vehicle's footprint, the space between the wheels. And get this, the bigger the vehicle's footprint, the weaker the environmental rules it has to follow. It's completely backward. So, instead of spending billions on engineering cleaner, more efficient engines, the automakers just made the trucks bigger. They literally made them gigantic just to get around the law and protect those massive profits. It is a complete perversion of the system. And then they weaponized the tax code. This is the Hummer loophole. It's unbelievable. There's a rule called Section 179, and it was originally meant to help, a farmer buy a new tractor or a piece of heavy equipment. But because these new luxury trucks are so bloated and heavy, weighing over 6,000 pounds, they technically qualify as heavy business equipment. So here's how the scam works. A wealthy dentist or a lawyer buys an $85,000 GMC Denali. They slap a tiny little magnetic logo for their practice on the side, and because it's heavy equipment, they can deduct a massive chunk of that price right from their income, lowering their tax bill. And who makes up for that lost tax revenue? We do. Everyday taxpayers are literally subsidizing luxury truck purchases for the wealthy. It's an absolute, undeniable scam. Okay, so we've seen the marketing lies, we've seen the legal loopholes. Now let's talk about the real-world cost of all this. Because it isn't just about corporate greed. It's about debt, it's about the decay of our infrastructure, and it's about death. First, the financial toll is just staggering. The average monthly payment for a new truck is now over $1,000 a month. Just stop and think about that. More than $1,000 a month for a vehicle that starts losing value the second you drive it away. It's a total debt trap. People are getting sucked into these 8-year, that's 96-month loans with crushing interest rates. By the time they're done, they will have paid over $110,000 for a truck that's maybe worth $30,000. The whole system is designed to extract wealth from working people, and it's fueling this national auto debt crisis of over $1.5 trillion. And the physical cost is somehow even worse. These vehicles have become morbidly obese. A new GMC Hummer EV weighs 9,000 pounds. Its battery pack alone weighs more than an entire Honda Civic. Let that sink in. This extreme weight is just pulverizing our roads, our bridges, and again, taxpayers are the ones footing the billion-dollar repair bills. But the most chilling cost, the one that really should make everyone stop and think, is this. Over the last decade, as these giant trucks have completely taken over our roads, pedestrian deaths in the U.S. have skyrocketed by over 70%. 70%. We're at a 40-year high. And this is not a coincidence. The physics are just brutal. A normal car, a sedan, has a low hood. If it hits someone, it's designed to push them up and over the car, giving them a chance to survive. But the front of a modern truck, it's a 55-inch tall flat steel wall. It doesn't push you over, it pulls you under the chassis. It almost guarantees a fatality. We have knowingly, as a society, traded human safety for aggressive styling and corporate profit. So, now that you've seen it all, the slick marketing, the crooked loopholes, the crippling debt, and the truly horrifying human cost, I have to ask, will you ever look at a pickup truck the same way again? The next time you see one of those massive, gleaming trucks taking up 2 parking spaces, look past the chrome. See it for what it is. It's not a symbol of American strength. It's a monument to a massive national scam. And we are all paying the price.